Well, home price growth in Ohio in 2025 has been slowing, but don't be fooled because there are still 80 of 88 counties with below pre pandemic levels of inventory of homes for sale. And so now that we have interest rates crashing, the big question is, will more buyers come into the market or more sellers come into the market in Ohio? Regardless of what happens with that, I think the Ohio housing market is definitely about to get crazy. So that's what we're looking at tonight on the Ohio Housing Nerd. This is my new studio. I'm not done with yet, but it's coming together. And this is my winter studio. Normally I'm outside, but it's going to get cold, so I got to prepare. Anyway, welcome to the Ohio Housing Nerd. My name is Jason Ferrier, and I've been a realtor and investor in Central Ohio going on nearly a decade now. And yeah, this is an opportunity for you to learn about the Ohio housing market. The way this works is that I will review some updates to the market in general in the state of Ohio, and then it's your chance to dive into local markets that you want me to review. So if you have an area of Ohio, a county specifically, or a town that you would like me to take a look at tonight, put it in the comments and I'm happy to get to it. I have a lot of counties that I'm going to already have on the list from everybody requesting it over the last couple of weeks. So I've got everything from Knox County. I've got Delaware, Ross, Fayette, Coshocton, Richland, Summit, Cuyahoga, Licking, Franklin, Hamilton, Montgomery, Highland, Fairfield, Madison, Lake, to name a few. So I've got a lot. And as you know, we've got 88 counties. So hopefully y'all don't make me go through all 88, though. I imagine that's coming at some point. We got Sam. What up, Sam? Hey, Sam, how are you? Yeah, Muskingum County. Yep. Let me add that to my list here. My long list. Yeah, so look, let's start with this thing. This is something that is pretty shocking. So this is the obviously map of Ohio, but this shows you the inventory. Oops, sorry, wrong one. This shows you the inventory growth in 2025 so far. So the number of homes for sale in Ohio has grown, and some of these counties are growing more than others. So this represents the 1-year change in the number of homes for sale by county. And some of this stuff is really startling. Now, remember, we have more homes for sale in Ohio than we did than we did last year, but we're down versus pre-pandemic. Meaning, if you go back to 2019, we still have fewer homes for sale overall in the state. And we definitely have fewer homes for sale in many counties. So, but if I start with this map, you can see kind of where inventory is really struggling, right? So like, for instance, you can see down in Morgan County, they're down 18% year over year. So they don't even have gains in inventory versus last year. Then you got areas like Washington County down 11%, right? Glazy County, is that how you say that? I should know I'm from Ohio. Down 9%. Morrow County down 13%. Cuyahoga County down 6%. But then you've got some that are up a lot. So you got like Carroll County up 59%. Clark County up 55%. Franklin County up 29%. Licking County, 0% growth. They're flat. Ross County up 42%. I'll put a link for this map in the description below after the live's done, but I created this map to basically show that, hey, there are areas of the state where inventory is growing rapidly over the last year. And that's good. You need more homes for sale. If anybody, unless you've been living underneath a rock, you would know that the inventory of homes for sale has been dismal this year. and over the last 4 years, rather. And we're going to look at some trends here in a minute that'll show you that. But that's kind of a look at what the state looks like right now, year over year. But check this out. This is like, whoa, when you see this next map. 92% of counties in Ohio have fewer homes for sale right now than they did in 2019. Some of them are down more than half. I mean, it's easy to see, right? Blue is good, red bad. Like, look at this right here. Huron County, down 58% versus 2019 in the number of homes for sale. So so I have a question for you. You're driving around the Buckeye State and you see subdivisions. I apologize, by the way, for the camera shaking or any mess up in the studio. It's still kind of coming together. But if you're driving around the Buckeye State and you see subdivisions going up, like new homes, right? And you probably think to yourself, I can't believe they are still building homes. Like, I can't believe it. This is why. We're woefully short in inventory of homes for sale, especially affordable inventory that isn't torn up or built in 1800, right? But like this, Huron County down 58%, right? I mean, some of these counties, Mercer County down 53%. Then you got one that's up, Hocking County up 81%. I mean, Hocking County has 81% more homes for sale right now than they did in 2019. Pretty crazy. Monroe County up 70%. What I'm seeing, one of the things that I noticed from this map is that Central Ohio is seeing a lot more inventory growth than up north in Cuyahoga County. If you think about the big three cities, like Cuyahoga County, like they're down 38% in the number of homes for sale. But look at Franklin County, up 10% since the pandemic. So they actually have more homes for sale right now in Franklin County than they did before the pandemic. That's pretty crazy. Licking County, up 8%, right? Pickaway County, up 43%. Madison, up 25%. Don't worry, I'm going to get to your individual counties in much more depth, but I just want to show you this from a, 30,000 foot view. And the narrative, you'll hear narratives out there that, hey, inventory is exploding across the nation and the housing market is crashing, this, that, and the other thing. Well, we're going to look today and find out if that's true, if that's really what's going on in Ohio, or if it's any different. For the most part, maybe I'll show you this too. You want to, this is like what I do. What do I do with my spare time is I sit around and come up with these charts. Let's talk about pricing for a second. So this chart I put together, and I'll link all these in the description. This shows you the monthly shift in Ohio home prices by month. So this is a month over month look at home prices. So we just looked at inventory. We know we don't have a lot of inventory, even though it is growing year over year. But look at the prices. Look at this for a second. This is pretty crazy. So this is 2001 through 2025. This goes all the way back to 2001. And at the bottom, it shows you the average. So if I take all the monthly growth numbers by month, by year, and average them out, in January, we average about let me show you this. Let's see if I can blow this up at all. Yeah, there we go. In January, we average about a 0.2% growth in home prices normally. That's historic. That's a historical trend, not counting 2025. And then in February, 0.3%. You see how that works? 0.3, 0.4, 0.4, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2%. I mean, almost every month is consistent. That's a nice thing, right? And nationally, this looks much different. But in Ohio, this is what it looks like. And now look at 2025. Look where we are. 0.6% growth in home prices in January is what we achieved this year. We usually get 0.2%. So we were up in 2025 is my point. I mean, the growth in January was much bigger than it would have been normally. We outpaced the average amount, right? Then we outpaced it again, 0.5% compared to 0.3%, which we normally get. Then 0.2%, 0.3%. Oh, I'm sorry. Back in February, we were actually, we were up in February, sorry. And then in March, we were actually down. So we normally grow pricing 0.3% month over month. We actually only grew at 0.2%. We normally grow 0.4% in April. We were only up 0.1%. We normally grow 0.4% in May. We were only up 0.1%. Same with June and July, we clocked in at the average growth amount of 0.3%. The point is that the reason why I'm showing you this is, number one, we can look historically and see kind of how home prices have trended through like the crash, back in 2006, 2007, 8, 9, 10. Because many people, I've heard people, tell me if you haven't, but I've heard people on YouTube tell me that home prices are going to crash in every state, including Ohio, worse than the great financial crisis. That's going to happen. And it's going to start, it's already started, and we're doomed, is what I've heard. Comment, I'd love to know if you think we're doomed. But home price growth is definitely slowing. All you have to do is look back at some of these numbers. Look back in 2022. Look at this. We usually average 0.2% growth. We clocked in at a 1.1. We usually average 0.3 in February. We actually achieved 1.6. Then we got 1.9 in March, 1.8 in April, 1.4, 1.2, 0.7. We actually had some negative prints at the end of 23 and 22, which is kind of crazy. But some of these months were like this, when COVID struck. I mean, look at this. 1.4, 1.6, 1.8. The hits just keep on coming. We had a 1.9 in here in 2022, right? So COVID wrecked home prices across the country, certainly wrecked it in Ohio. And it may not seem like a lot when you're like, well, Jason, it's only 1.9 and we usually get 0.3. You compound that monthly and the home prices just go straight up in the air. That's what happened, right? But now that growth is slowing. So we're not seeing a 1.9 anymore. We're seeing 0.2 or 0.1. We may have a negative this year. Who knows, right? We could. Haven't seen it so far. And by the way, this is all Zillow data or raw data from their back end of their website. And you can access it too. You can download it. If you're a nerd like me, I guess you can put it into a chart like this. But anyway, I thought this was interesting. The other thing you may want to pay attention to is home price growth. And remember, this is for the state of Ohio, by the way, just the entire state, not any particular county. But if you look back during the GFC, look at the home prices and what they did. Like every month was negative, basically, right? It all the carnage really started in 2006. Like in November of 2006, we normally get a 0.2% increase. We saw a negative 0.1, negative 0.1, and then it was just negative all the way through. I think it got to what? Did it get to 1% down at all month over month? It didn't. Like this month may have been the worst, 0.7% in February of 2009. Could have been the worst month of them all. But this may look bad, like these years, and if you lived through that housing market from a standpoint of if you owned a home or you were an investor in the housing market then, or if you were in the business, which I wasn't. I wasn't in the real estate business. I was in new home construction in Southern California during the GFC. And Columbus is lucky. Ohio was spared the worst of the GFC as far as home price decline. I mean, I think overall it was in the neighborhood of 19%. Home prices went down during the GFC in Ohio. They could have gone down a lot worse. Like there were markets like where I lived out in Southern California. I mean, markets were down 60%. I think Stockton, California may have been the worst in the US. It was down like over 60. It was like 65%. They lost 65% of their home values during like a 4-year time period. Now, obviously, it's recovered and gone insane since then. But I guess my point is, like, you have to kind of take it into context, right? Like, what does a crash really look like if we're going to have one? If people are right, we're going to have a massive crash. And not only that, it's a slow moving ship. But I did want to point out that, hey, home prices are still going up. You can see it in the data right here in Ohio overall, but they are, but the growth is slowing. So this growth percentage is slowing, and hopefully it would be nice if home prices would moderate for some people, make things more affordable. But the big kahuna in the room is this, the big elephant, gorilla, whatever you want to call it, is this. I'm not a mortgage professional, by the way. I'm not a mortgage broker. I'm not a loan officer. I'm a realtor. I'm an investor. But I pay attention to mortgage rates. You should too. I mean, right now, mortgage rates are at 6.29% for a 30-year fixed rate, according to Mortgage News Daily. So, like, that's a big drop. 0.16, basically 16 basis points is what the 30-year fixed mortgage rate for conventional financing, how much that dropped really in a day was 16 basis points. That's a big drop. I don't know if it's a historic drop. I doubt it is, but it's definitely a big drop. I mean, look at the 15-year. It dropped 21 basis points. I mean, FHA is now under 6%. So the question is tonight, and this is why I say, you know, why the Ohio housing market is about to get crazy. Something's going to happen with these rates. In other words, these rates are going to spur something in the market, whether that be more buyers or more sellers. The question is which one. A lot of people have predicted that it'll be more sellers. Like, more sellers will enter the market now that rates are lower. I understand that, because now they may want to move up to a new house. I get that. Or they may think, hey, there's more buyers in the market because rates are lower. Now is the time to sell. That could be it too. A lot of people think that more buyers will enter the market because rates are lower, even though if prices aren't. They think, hey, now that rates are getting lower, will they continue to drop? They could. You know, they could go up. Last year when the Fed cut interest rates, which are supposed to do in September, you know, in a couple of weeks here, the mortgage rates went up, not down. So who knows, right? We don't know. We're not wizards. But I'm just interested to hear what you have to say. If you think you'll see more buyers or more sellers, are you someone who's been waiting for, you know, for interest rates to come down to buy a house? I'd like to know. But this was a big drop, folks. This was a big drop in interest rates, in mortgage rates. Now, my personal opinion is that I think rates will affect buyers more than sellers. People buy on payment, even if you maybe you shouldn't buy on payment. People do, and I think the average homeowner average home buyer in the U.S. just picked up like $22,000 in purchasing power from this rate drop. Actually, that was the rate drop, I think, going to 4.5. So this is even a bigger rate drop. So the average home buyer in the U.S. could have picked up 30 grand in purchasing power, meaning because rates came down, but prices haven't. Because the rates came down, they can afford a $30,000 more expensive home, basically, because payments are lower now. The other thing is, and then I'm going to get to these. I'll get to your comments, then I'll get to these metros or these counties, because that's my favorite part anyway. The other, you know, big question out there, I don't hear anybody talking about this, and I'm shocked. I don't hear more economists talking about the fact that if rates continue to fall, people will refinance their properties. There are a bunch of people waiting for rates. I'm waiting for rates to come down to refinance some properties. When they come down, or if they do, even at this level, consumers, being consumers, will refi their properties, pull cash out. Now, it's smart to use that for maybe another property. You don't want to blow it on, you know, a vacation or something. But a lot of people will blow it on vacation. A lot of people will go out and, you know, buy a bunch of holiday have the best Christmas of their life, buy a new car or whatever. Probably not the best idea ever, but I'm not a financial advisor, but that's not what I do. I don't do that. But that's going to stimulate the economy. Like, I haven't heard anybody mention that yet. I don't know why. Maybe I'm missing something. But it would seem like if rates continue to drop, people in Ohio and across the nation are going to refi, take that cash, go out and spend it in the economy. And I'm sure that's going to do something to the economy. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just saw that and I'm like, man, like, this is personally, I don't think rates need to be lower. I think prices probably need to come down, but I'm not sure that we're going to get that. I don't know if we will. So, all right, let me look at the comments and then I will get into your counties. Got 46 people on. By the way, don't be a freeloader. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. That's all I ask. All right. What's up, Sam? What up, man? I love your show already. I've listened to a couple of episodes. Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you joining, Sam. You look like a realtor. Just your mug shot there is a realtor type mug shot. Are you a realtor? I don't know. Maybe you are. You don't have to tell us if you are. All right. I got Fairfield County. I got Picktown, huh? Pickerington. Picktown. I got you. What's up, Monique? How you doing? Cuyahoga Falls, Summit County. I got Summit County on here. I'll try to get to these cities. I may just be able to do the county because I got so many here. But I'm definitely doing Summit County. I have that on the list. I got Muskingum. Doomsday Crochet. That's pretty funny. Yeah, Erie County. All right. Look at that one. Are you saying, Sam, on rates, it's consolidation? We'll see a gap up soon again? Is that what you're saying? Could be on the 10-year. I don't know. A lot of stuff sitting by me, Northeast Ohio. On the market, huh? Expensive stuff, Aaron, thanks for joining us. Expensive stuff or cheap stuff? Stuff that needs work? I got a crazy chart, another chart to show you guys, a crazy chart about homes in Ohio. We're in Northeast Ohio. Give me an idea. What county? Buy the dip. You mean buy the dip like buy a house now? Is that what you're saying? Because the rates are low, or refi now? This happened to me last year, by the way. Like, I mean, I look at this stuff every day, as you can imagine, and I mess up all the time. So last year, about this time, I was going to refi a property, and I was like, you know what? I think rates are going to keep coming down. Guess what? They didn't. They went back up, and now I still haven't refied that property because I want more dry powder in order to buy something, a property, not a toy. Portage. I got you on Portage County. What else we got? Producing regional manager for a large mortgage bank. Oh, so you probably know a lot more than me about this. You think rates are going to bounce back up, huh? Do you think, Sam, the question is, do you think rates will spike if when the Fed cuts like they did last year? Montgomery County, Huber Heights. I got Montgomery County on here already. Got that one. Hey, Monique, thank you so much. Really enjoy your show. Very informative and beneficial in so many ways. You're welcome. I appreciate you joining me. I really appreciate your support. It means a lot. Stoutsville, Ohio, Pickaway County. I'm definitely have Pickaway County on here. I don't know if I can do Stoutsville. Let me see if I have Pickaway. Do I have Pickaway already? Gotta scribble these down or I'll forget. Warren County. I'll be here forever tonight. It's okay. I asked for it. It's all good. As value of dollar collapses, homes will go up, increase in price. Ohio's still cheap when considering rest of the nation. I live in Canton, Ohio, not the best market. Yeah, I take a look at Canton though. Canton's big enough to look at. Yeah, so you know what? It's all about perspective. For people who are moving here from other states, this is like discount city. They're like, how much are houses? 300,000? I'll take 3, please. But for people who live here, it's obviously expensive. But I get what you're saying. And yeah, people keep saying that the dollar is going to collapse and asset prices will go up. But thanks, Nick, for checking in. Michelle, how you doing? Good evening to you. Fixed rates will actually go up because the Federal cut the short end and we will see more inflation. ARMs will be the first wave of refinances. You're saying I'm sorry to keep asking you questions. I should have you on my show. You're saying that ARMs, that's what people will refi into, or they're going to refi out of ARMs? I will let others ask about their counties. Here it's a little stagnant. I enjoy your show. Market's still similar to the last time you looked at our area. Okay, cool. Vic Vegas. What's up, Vic? Earth Angel Extreme Grace. Tuscarawas County, please. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for joining us, Tuscarawas. Columbiana County. Very stagnant, huh? We're seeing that, by the way. Houses that are overpriced or are, that they need a lot of work, and if they're overpriced, those are sitting. There's no doubt. Hey, Michaela, the refinancing wave would be too much for the banks to handle right now. It could be. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. But that's like a kind of a splinter in my brain. I don't know if that's going to cause a lot of people to spend money in the economy or not. But it's great to see you online there, Michaela. I hope you're having a nice evening. All right, let's get to some of these counties. I got a list, so be patient. Be patient with me. All right, let's do, let me just get to some people that asked first. Let's see. Portage. Okay. Let's do Summit County first. I got a lot of requests for Summit County. I usually do. All right. So how this works is I review the new listings. In other words, how many homes are hitting the market, active listings, how many homes are on the market, how many homes sold or are in contract. In other words, the demand in the market. So I look at the supply, the demand, then look at pricing, typically is how it works with these counties. And I'll give you a kind of a general sense of what's happening there. All right, so new listings in Summit County, they're up 8.7%. You added 182 new listings in Summit County. And this is for the 4 weeks ending 8/31/2025. So this is they basically take 4 weeks of data and then capture that information. Rolling 4 weeks, I guess you want to call it. All right. So that's new listings. So basically you've got 8.71% more people putting their homes on the market. That's good if you want more inventory, because you need more inventory to have some type of lower price. You need more inventory for lower prices, basically. Let's look at active listings. How many listings are out there on the market, like for sale in Summit County? Well, you've got 10% more than last year. That's good. That's good. Remember, most of the counties in Ohio, like 81%, I think, are, is it 81%? Let me look at my notes again. Yeah, 81% are up year over year in inventory. So the majority of the state has more homes for sale they did last year. So it's not uncommon to see this. Active listings in Summit County up 10%. Now let's look at the demand. So we have a little bit more supply than last year. More people putting their homes on the market. Let's look at pending sales. So these are the homes going into contract. 18% more people putting homes in contract. And look, you basically put 185 homes in contract in the last 4 weeks. New listings, that's not what you want to see. That's 182 new listings. So in essence, you put more in contract than you added. That's not good. You don't really want to see that because that means you're losing supply. The other thing to remember is you've got a historically high level of sellers pulling their home off the market, taking their toys and going home is what I call it, right? They're like, nah, I'll try again next year. It's a lot of wish pricing, right? Wish pricing. They don't need to sell. They may want to sell, but they don't need to sell. And so they don't sell. They're just like, yeah, I'll put it on the market. I'm sure you've seen them in your area, right? You see these homes on the market for like way over what they should be. They sit there. Nobody ever buys them. And then the seller just takes them off the market. And so we're seeing a record number of those types of listings. And that's also depleting the inventory. So if you look at active listings, you are up 10%, but remember, you're starting to lose that inventory. It's coming down now. It always does in the winter, but the selling season, the inventory season is kind of over. It really is. Winter's going to be here before you know it. Let's look at pricing. So what we usually use here is median sale price, which is the house in the middle that sells. That's usually the way we look at the pricing in general for the county. $239,000 is the median home price. It's basically flat, but I wouldn't get it twisted because look at this. You just came from a record high 254 for the median home price. Just last week, 2 weeks ago. You started this year at 188 grand. And now homes are median home price $239,000 for Summit County. It's crazy. Let's look at this. Let's look at median days on market. In other words, how long are homes sitting on the market before they actually go into contract? This isn't great at all. 23 days, that's only up 2 days. When I say it's not great, I mean, if you're a buyer, it's not great. If you're a seller, this probably means that, hey, homes are basically moving just as fast as they did last year in general. So as a seller, good sign. As a buyer, not a lot of relief there. I'm sure if you're looking for a house in Summit County, you know that. It's crazy when you see this stuff. And I think it's going to get crazier as we look at rates. As rates come down, I think it will get crazier. All right, so that's Summit County. So that's how the exercise works. I'll try to go through them faster now. And if you have a question as I'm going through it, just throw it in the comments. If you throw me a super chat, I'll definitely see it earlier. Let's see. Let's do Cuyahoga County. Let's look at new listings in Cuyahoga County. What's going on there? New listings up 3.7%. So a few more homes on the market, right? But not an explosion at all. The weird thing is back in 2022 in Cuyahoga County, you actually had more homes hitting the market than you do now. That's scary. Really scary. That lock-in effect people talk about where they're locked into their low mortgage rate, owners are, that's real. I mean, that is a real thing that's going on. I mean, there's comment after comment on my channel of people saying, I'm not going to sell. Why would I sell and move? I'd be a fool to give up my 3% rate. I agree. Most situations you probably would be. So people are like, nah, I'm just going to sit on the side, sit back and wait. And that frustrates a lot of people, but that's just how it is. So you've got more new listings. That's good. Let's see, 399, right? Let's look at active inventory and see what's going on. I mean, it's falling now, right? You're up, what, 10.7%, 3,500 homes for sale. But let's look at pending sales and see what's happening. Look at this. This is just insane. 7% growth in pending sales. You took away 425 homes in Cuyahoga County. What do you got? Yeah, you added 399. You put 425 in contract. Not good. When I say not good, I mean, I need to qualify that statement. It's not that I want sellers to do well. I represent sellers all the time. I want them to do well, but for the long-term health of the housing market, this trend is not great. And what's really scary is it's during, like, I mean, not to like beat on a dead horse, but like look at how the pending sales have trended. They haven't fallen, right? They've continued to just kind of go steady, in a weird way, kind of increase as the years gone on. So like it was really poor during the like, look at this, during the spring selling season in Cuyahoga County, you were down 6%. Now you're up 7%. So it's almost like there's more buying demand now in Cuyahoga County than there was during this busy selling season. And the lower rates are not going to help this situation. It's just not going to help. All right, let's look at median sale price. I apologize if that camera's shaking. I got it attached to my desk and I'll have to make a change. Median sale price in Cuyahoga County, $234,000. $234,000. Up 10, rounding up, it's up 11% year over year. What in the world? I mean, this is like detached. It looks like a bizarro universe. It looks like some kind of chart from like XRP or something, right? If you're into stocks, I mean, it's just like whoop, 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 whoop. Just keeps going. Now, important to note, 27% of all home sales in Cuyahoga, or in Cleveland anyway, are investors. And most of them were mom and pop investors. A lot of investors buying up there. And maybe that's what's driving it. But I think it's happening all over Ohio. So, and that's not going anywhere. I think you're going to continue to see that. But the prices are just, the price in Cuyahoga County continues to go up. It's crazy. Let's look at days on market real quick. Median days on market. So that's up about 4 days. Now it's 23.75 before it goes into contract. Look at it back in 2023. I'm sorry, 2022. Look at this. Like there were times when homes were going into contract on average in 8 or a median of 8 days, 9 days. Now 23 days, 24 days. Wow. So homes are still moving quickly, but they're sitting a little longer than they did last year. A lot of beat up inventory up there. There's a lot of beat up inventory all over Ohio. All over Ohio. So that's Cuyahoga County. Hopefully that helped if you're looking at that market. I'm going to show you this now because this is like completely bizarre. Although if you are in Ohio, you know this to be true. Check this out. This is the age of homes in Ohio, or these are the age of homes, however I'm supposed to say that. Homes in Ohio are old, so I'm just taking a break from the county analysis to show you this, because this has a lot to do with what you're seeing out there in the market. Only 91,000 homes were built after 2020 in Ohio. This is based on the U.S. Census, by the way. So I'm not saying it's 100% accurate. I just got the info from the public source. 2000 through 2019, 825,000. 1980 through 1999, 1.1 million. 1950 through 1979, 2 million homes. Look at 1949 and earlier, 1.3 million homes. So if you add the 1.3 to the 2 million, you get 3.3 million homes in Ohio out of like 5.3 million. That's how many we have. So way over half of the homes in Ohio were built before 1979. I'm sorry. Built before 1979. Over half the homes. So when we're looking at this data, remember, a lot of the homes on the market are old, 1910, 1890. I mean, the housing inventory in Ohio is old. And I thought this one was crazy. 2020 and later, 91,000. So when you think Ohio has way too many homes, like, I can't believe they're building that subdivision over there. I can't believe they're building over here. Remember this. There's just no new houses comparatively. I mean, if you've driven around, like, I'm just off the top of my head, I think about Linden. I think about, a lot of the areas inside the outer belt in Columbus. 1950 through 1979, 2 million homes were built during that period of time. So there was an explosion of those matchbox 1950 slab, 800,000 square foot homes, 3-bed, 1-bath, 2-bed, 1-bath, Cape Cods, a lot of those, right? And they just don't build those anymore. They don't, because they're not profitable for builders. So builders build big homes, not small homes, and the housing stock is old. So chances are, if you're going to find a deal out there in Ohio, a lot of times it's going to be an older home. It just is. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you because I was like, wow, it's pretty crazy when you put it down visually. Anyway, let's go back to the data. But tell me what you think about those age of homes. I thought that was pretty interesting. All right, so I did Cuyahoga. All right, I'm going to keep going here. I got Licking. And if you got your metro or an area of Ohio, metro, county, whatever, put it in the comments and I'll try to get to it if I can. New listings in Licking County, Ohio, which is where I live, 18% up year over year. Definitely more inventory on the market. Definitely more inventory. Added 63, 64 listings or so. How many did we put in contract? Put 60 in contract. So just didn't add that much. I mean, pending sales are up 12% in Licking County. It's crazy. The demand is just there still. It's clear that the demand is waiting on the sidelines. It's clear that it is. And then when they find the right house or interest rates drop, people are pulling the trigger. Active inventory. How's that doing? I mean, it's still kind of going up. We've got 19% more homes for sale, 720 homes in Licking County. I'm actually seeing some like flip potential houses out there. I'm seeing some duplexes out there hit the market, which I haven't seen in a while. A lot of expensive homes though, too, that, the average home buyer is not going to buy. Those will rot on the market unless they're priced right. So we are seeing a few more homes sit out there on the market. Let's look at median days on market. What do we got? Up 1.75 days, 46 days is what the median days on market is in Licking County. Up about 2 days. Really, basically the same as last year. Median sale price, look at this, nearly an all-time high. It's getting there. $358,000 in Licking County, Ohio. That's up 9%, by the way. 9%. Wow. I mean, you would never think that. If this number was in the, I mean, I don't want to talk about it. It's just, you guys know, it's, even as a realtor, I look at this and go, come on, man. This can't be right. No, it is. It is. This isn't an all-time high. We hit that earlier this year at $364. Look at that, $364,000. What? A few weeks ago. Who's counting though, right? Homes are expensive and they're hard to get in Licking County. Like the house I live in now, I wouldn't be able to buy it. Like it wouldn't work out for me now. It wouldn't. I got lucky. It would not work out. If I was out house hunting right now, I'm not sure what we would do. I don't know where I would live. I'd probably have to buy like a old duplex and fix it up or something. May have to rent for a while. I mean, this is it's expensive in Licking County comparatively. I mean, Licking County is like more expensive than Houston, Texas right now. If you can believe that. Oof. All right, let's keep going. Licking. I got Erie County. New listings in Erie County, Ohio. Make sure my mic's on. Let's see. 48% increase in new listings, but it's only 22. Well, a county like Erie County doesn't get that many new listings, not that much activity, so it's going to be up and down like crazy. So a 48% increase that's not crazy at all. That's just kind of the way it is because there's not that many transactions. Pending sales, you had 21 pending sales. So look, new listings, you had 22. Pending sales, you had 21. So you basically didn't add any inventory there. Look at active listings, though. Those are elevated, 273, up nearly 30% year over year. Last year, you had 211. So, that's another 60 listings or so, right? So there are more homes out there for sale. You should see more homes in Erie County. And it's going up. It's continuing to go up. It's not showing a sign of slowing down. Let me go back and look at pending sales again. Like this is probably in this time period here is where you built that inventory probably, right? Because back in earlier, like a couple months ago, you actually had a big decline in pending sales and then it went back up. But you still have a good amount of homes out there compared to last year anyway. Let me see. I'm just curious. I probably should have done this in the other markets, but I didn't. I'll come back to that. Look at median sale price in Erie County, $258, basically flat, right? Basically flat. But you started the year in Erie County at $204,000. Now, $258. Wow. And it doesn't show like it's slowing down. I mean, you may end up flat for the year, but it's not crashing, obviously, right? I'm sure if you live there, you know that. But you probably are seeing some homes sit on the market longer. What's median days on market? This won't probably tell us much because there aren't a lot of transactions. 42 is the median days on market, up 3 days. So I'd imagine homes are sitting somewhat longer. But the point is there's not enough new inventory. That's one of the issues you're having. I'm guessing a lot of the inventory there is maybe it's overpriced, maybe big houses on big pieces of land, nearly probably 7-figure houses on 50 acres or something, right? I wonder if you're seeing that. But that's Erie County. Erie County is done. Let's do, somebody wanted Portage County, which I don't think I've ever looked at. Portage County, Ohio. What do we got? New listings in Portage County, 40 over the last 4 weeks. That's up 7.4% year over year. So you've got a few more new listings in Portage County. What about pending sales? 29%. So you took away 45 units. How many did you add? 40. Same story. You're taking away more than you are putting on the market, and that's not good for inventory. Active inventory. Yeah, look at this thing start to fall now. I mean, you're still up 22%, but it's falling. We're seeing this nationally, by the way. Nationally, the same thing's happening. The same exact thing, where more pending sales, more demand. People are not putting their homes on the market. Builders, by the way, have stopped. I mean, they haven't stopped building, but they've decided, nationally that the demand wasn't there over the past few months. So they've like, nah, we're not going to build anymore. But there's still a record number of completed homes for sale right now, unsold new homes. And maybe those will get gobbled up. But your inventory is falling in Portage County. So 330 units, median days on market. 23 days. That's up 3 days. So up a few days. But there are markets in the US where the median days on market's up like 20 days. Like it's like near 100 now. Last year, like in Austin, Texas and stuff, like the median days on market are through the roof. There's a ton of homes sitting for a long, long time. So it's not horrible here compared to a place like Austin, but let's do median sale price now. 293, basically flat, but it hasn't crashed this year, obviously. You started at 255, now 293. So prices just remain sticky or they're slowly going up. And you can see it like in an area like Portage County, the home price growth is slowing. It's not as wide compared to last year as it has been over the last few years. But nonetheless, it's still going up. I mean, your all-time high was back in 2024 at $311,000 at the end of the year and last year. But it could have been like one sale that pushed it to that amount. Again, when you don't have a ton of transactions, that's going to happen. I would say, again, like there's probably opportunities out there in a market like Portage County, if you are looking to buy a home, where, especially as we get into the winter, there's going to be somebody on the market that needs to sell their home or is getting to the point where they need to sell it. And then as it gets colder out, most buyers back off, although if rates keep dropping, maybe they won't this year. And then, there's an opportunity to make a lower offer, maybe. That happens. Also, if the home needs work. So, don't be afraid to pick up a hammer if you need to, because you may need to get a deal to add some sweat equity. Okay, so that is Portage County. All right, let's do, for our buddy Sam, let's do Muskingum County. I'm curious about this one. New listings in Muskingum County, 23. That's it. Not that many. That's just over the last 4 weeks, though. That's up 9.3%. Pending sales. What are those? 23. Basically flat as far as how much you've taken away, how much you've added. I would imagine inventory's up there. Yeah, look at the inventory, though. 31% more homes for sale in Muskingum County. The question is, are they affordable homes? Are they good homes? Don't know. I don't have that information here. Median days on market. 50 days, that's up 10 days. Homes are definitely sitting there longer in Muskingum County. No doubt. No doubt at all. Let's look at median sale price. This thing's all over the place. Right now, it's $189,000 right now. 189 grand. Wow. That's down a lot. Down 15%. I don't know. I don't know if that's I doubt that's a trend yet, but something's happened there. I mean, my guess is the inventory is higher priced homes that are really beat up. Like I just looked at one in Muskingum County recently in Zanesville over the last couple of weeks, and it needed, like a lot of them do. They're old. They need $150,000 in work. Well, the home price would have to be negative for me to buy it. Like they'd have to pay me for me to buy it for the deal to make sense. Obviously, that's not going to happen. So that's what I see a lot out there in Zanesville and a lot of other areas of Ohio. But nonetheless, the prices there right now are down 15%. But it is up and down. You can see that just because there's not a ton of transactions. They peaked at 264 at one point this year. So I don't know how much help that is, Sam, but that's what's going on in Muskingum County. Let me just look at some comments and then I'll come back. Montgomery County and Dayton. Yep, I'll get to that. I think I have that on my list. I don't think I've done that yet, have I? Montgomery County. Nope, it's right here. I did Muskingum County. I'll get to that one, no doubt. Jacob, thanks for joining us, by the way. I appreciate it. Hit the like button, everybody. Don't be a freeloader. Andrew, what's happening, Andrew? Yeah, those are all the old homes that have problems and current owners don't want to fix them, so they sell them to suckers. Well, that's why you got to do your due diligence, right? And then you got to offer a price that makes sense with the repairs, right? If it needs a new roof, well, offer a price where you think it needs to be priced. I mean, if you think homes are overpriced by 20%, make offers 20% under what they're asking. Even putting a filter on for 1960 and newer is insane how much inventory disappears. Right. Michaela's talking about this chart here, right? This chart we were looking at earlier as far as how many, well, that's not the right one. That's my wrong one. This one. How many homes in Ohio, how old they are. Yeah, you can go to the U.S. Census Bureau and look at this dating. You can get it for cities, counties. Like I can go to the county level if I want. I haven't done that yet, but it'd be interesting to dissect that. But like it's startling how old homes are in Ohio. And it's like that for the United States, by the way. It's not just Ohio. It's, areas like Phoenix and, like Las Vegas, Phoenix, they have much newer inventory, right? Because a lot of new building. Texas has a lot more new homes than they do, than Ohio does. But there's a lot of places, New York, California, Florida, even Florida, when I looked at the data. So, yeah, when you filter for 1960 and newer, it's insane how much inventory disappears. I agree. It is. That goes to show you, like, the whole idea of that silver tsunami that's coming. People are predicting that when the silver tsunami arrives, or some say it's already here, boomers pass away, they have to leave their home to somebody, that the kids are going to sell it. What types of homes do you think are going to be sold? Andrew just said a second ago, yeah, they're going to be homes with a bunch of problems. So the idea that Gen Z and millennials are going to be handed, or even Gen X for that matter, or Gen Alpha, I don't know, are going to be handed a move-in ready ranch home on an acre of land or half an acre in the perfect school system on the perfect corner for an unbelievable price. Unless something changes, I don't see that happening because the houses are old and they're not getting younger. I'd like to know how many out-of-state buyers we have as well as private equity. Yeah, I don't understand what you're asking for. I don't have that information. And I'm not even sure how to get that necessarily, but the majority, I hate to say this because I am one of these people, and I know a lot of them, but the majority of investors are mom and pop investors. And a lot of them are like accidental landlords. Like, a couple got divorced. They can't decide what to do with the house and they end up renting it out. Or somebody's left the house because their parents passed away and then they rent it out. But the majority of landlords out there in the U.S. and certainly Ohio are small landlords, like 1 to 10 properties. They're not, a lot of them aren't private equity. Although that number is increasing. And that's not going anywhere. I don't think so. Thank you for getting Portage County. You're welcome. Ottawa County, huh? It's a vacation spot. Really? Okay. We'll check that one out. Ottawa County, going crazy. That's my title. That's good. Is there a comparison that shows price per square foot because maybe the median is skewed by larger homes. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. You're welcome. You're welcome, Sam. All right, let me get to my next metro here, or next county. Somebody wanted to know about, well, you know what? You got me curious now about Ottawa. Ottawa County, Ohio. Only 19 new listings, but that's what you would expect, right? Pending sales, those are down, but you had 14 pending sales, 19 new listings. So I guess you added 5 active homes. Active homes in the market, 272, up 27%. It's kind of flat right now, but it's skyrocketed earlier in the year. Well, I guess in the spring selling season, right? It's skyrocketed. What about pending sales? Did those go? What happened with those? Yeah, look at pending sales, how they just kind of were way low for a while. You're only selling 10 homes a week or a month, I'm sorry. And then they skyrocketed, right? You went way up to 19, kind of went sideways, but now you're down, but that trend is up as far as pending sales if you look at left to right. But you say it's going crazy, huh? With prices? Is that what you're saying? You definitely have more homes to choose from, that's for sure. I mean, some of these homes could have been on the market for, months. Who knows? Now, who was it? Katie, you wanted to know about price per square foot in Ottawa County. Well, you just asked in general about price per square foot. So let's do that. I have it on here. I actually don't really look at it. This is a tough chart to look at. So median price per square foot in Ottawa County is $188 per square foot. That's down 14%. But again, in Ottawa County, it's going to be hard to see because there's just not that many transactions. There's just the sample size is so small that it's going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. Let me look at a 12-week trend. Maybe this will help us. Yeah, I mean, right now, the price per square foot's going down. I mean, if you look at a 12-week rolling average rather than a 4-week rolling average. So if I go back, if I look at 12-week chunks, right? This is like this right now is the 9th of June through the end of August, for instance, is how this looks. It's $198 a square foot. You peaked at $230 a square foot. I don't know if this is a trend or not, Katie, of prices going down like this. It could be people cutting prices. Could be buyers just saying, you know what? I'm not paying that price. Let's look at this. Let's look at average sale to list price ratio. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's 95, 96%, meaning on average, buyers are paying 96% of the list price, of the final list price. That doesn't include any price discounts. So looks like there's some bargaining going on. Maybe it was a couple big properties that sold. I saw the horse there in your avatar or your thumbnail. So maybe there's big horse farms up there. I don't know. I don't know much about Ottawa County. You say vacation spot though. So it could be people saying, you know what? I bought an Airbnb. Didn't work out. Got to pull the ripcord and get out of this thing. Could be a time to go hunting up there for a deal. Maybe. That's an interesting look. Thanks for suggesting that. I think you commented on my channel about that, I don't know, a couple days ago or something. So thank you, Katie, for saying that again. But I hope that helped. Like, it looks to me like you have inventory and price, the ratio of price paid to list price is coming down, which would be good for buyers, right? Maybe all that inventory is sparking opportunity. I mean, that's the thing that'll happen if we add homes to the market. That's why adding inventory is good because it gets the churn going, right? It helps buyers, helps sellers. You know, you get comps. You can kind of understand what's out there to compare your property to, When you have no sales, it stinks. It stinks for everybody. So hopefully more inventory, maybe some lower interest rates, maybe lower prices, and we'll see more churn in the market. Okay, that's Ottawa. Somebody wanted Tuscarawas. I don't know if I said that right, but I think that's how you say it. Tuscarawas County. But yeah, thanks, Katie. That was good. Let's do Tuscarawas. New listings in Tuscarawas County, 22.17. Doesn't really mean much, but down 4%. So, but it looks pretty much like it's seasonality right now. Like every season, it's about the same, or every year. Excuse me. Pending sales down 9%. 19 homes went into contract. How many are out there sitting there waiting to be sold or purchased, whatever? 164, you're only up 2.87% right now. Not that many more houses out there to choose from. 164 in the whole county, according to Redfin. This is Redfin data. I think I mentioned that. Now let's look at median sale price. 210,000. That's up 3%, right? Yeah, up 3%. So it's kind of been sideways all year. You started at 204 this year. Now you're at 210, up a little bit. That's what we're seeing. Whoops. Smaller growth, not crazy increases in prices like we did a couple years ago. Really 2 years wrecked Ohio, 2020 to 2021, 2021 to 2022. Those 2 years wrecked Ohio prices. Wrecked meaning that like some areas went up, some counties went up 30%, 35% in those 2 years. That was like the big jump. The 2020 to 2021 was the worst in most areas. So now let's do this again. Let's look at what in the world? Oh, yeah, that's what I want. Median sale price per square foot. Katie had asked about that. So we'll keep looking at it. $144, up 8%. It started at $137 per square foot. So basically what that means, what Katie asked about, I should have said this, but that's taking all the houses that sold and looking at the one in the middle. I'm assuming, I have to check this. Maybe I shouldn't be presenting the data before I understand what it is, but because I don't know exactly how Redfin calculates this, but it's probably the house in the middle and what was the median sale per square foot, which could be, it could throw things off because if that house was a big house, the price per square foot is going to be a lot lower than if it was a small house, obviously. But nonetheless, it's kind of interesting to look at. So $137 per square foot right now is the median. I'm sorry, $144 per square foot right now is the median. Yeah, I'm going to, before I keep presenting that data, I'm going to contact Redfin and double check how they calculate that. They're actually pretty responsive since they've been purchased by Rocket Mortgage. All right. So that was Tuscarawas County. Columbiana County. Is that how you say it? Columbiana? That's where I'm going next. In new listings in Columbiana County, 25 or 26, to round up, 26 new listings, up 16% year over year. Pending sales, 24, same amount, coming on, coming off. It's basically a wash. Look at active inventory over the last 12 weeks. 12% higher than last year. So the gap looks big, but it's only 12%. You've got 290 units, and last year was 261. So You've gained about 30 units or so. I mean, it's an improvement, but it's not amazing. Definitely need more. Definitely need more. Now let's look at median sale price. Look at this. This is crazy. $196,000. It's not an all-time high, but you're dang close to it. That's up 18% year over year. I mean, that trend is just not great. It's like you continue to just go up in prices. I mean, I just think there's probably a lot of areas like this in Ohio where there's not a lot of inventory, not a lot of homes are transacting. It's a smaller volume county. And the homes there, if they're not super old, if they're priced right at all, they're probably snatched up immediately, right? And people are willing to pay over asking for them. I'm still getting comments that there are bidding wars going on in different parts of Ohio. I see it when there's an affordable house on the market that's like move-in ready and, you know, is updated. Wow. 19% growth year over year. That's crazy in pricing. Good grief. Well, let's keep moving. Columbiana. Let's do Fairfield. I've got Warren County. Yeah, Warren County. This one's expensive, isn't it? All right, new listings in Warren County. What do we got? 85 and a half. 85 and a half new listings. I call it 85 or 86. Up 15%. But look at that head down now. At least you have more new listings than last year. That's good news. Something I don't usually look at. Let me look at this metric real quick is new listing median price. How much are the houses that are being listed? This kind of explains it. The new listing median price when somebody puts a house on the market, $409,000. So that's what houses are entering the market at price-wise. That's up 5% year over year. And you can see every year it's higher. Every year. Every year it's higher. Every year. Let's look at pending sales. How are those doing? Down 8.7% in Warren County. So more new listings, fewer people buying. Let's see if that has any effect on what's happening with active inventory. Yeah, look at active inventory go up. 827. Up 26%. Median days on market. What's that? 41 days or 42 days. It's up about 4 days year over year. So homes are sitting longer in Warren County. The question is, are we seeing, let's look at, let me look at median sale price. And yeah, look at median sale price. 429. That's in a really expensive county. That's up 7% year over year. Wow. Wow. That's like up near, that's like near Kings Island, I think, right? Man, Warren County is expensive. Now, let me look at how much of a discount buyers are getting. Yeah, look at this. 99%, basically getting like a 1% discount. So average sale to list price ratio, about 99%. What's really scary is look back in this, again, this is what wrecks the market. Look back in 2022. We don't have 2020 data on the chart, but in 2022 in Warren County, on average, buyers are paying 103% of the price. 103%. They're like, whatever it is, I'll pay more. I don't care what it is. I'll just pay more. Now it's only 99%, which is not a massive discount, but that's 4%. And that's a lot. I mean, that is a big difference in a housing market. So at least buyers on average aren't paying over asking anymore. Pretty much mirrors what we see nationally. which is a good, that's a good thing. There are still bidding wars, but on average, buyers are paying about 1% less than the list price. Okay, so that is average sale to list price ratio now, and we did median sale price. So I think we're done with Warren County, right? Yeah, we did median sale price, 429. It's crazy. What in the world? What in the world? Pickaway County. Pickaway County. That's the home of the Audrill, right? Is that how you say it? Andrill? That drone defense facility out there. New listings in Pickaway County up 11%. You added 20 new listings, not that many. Active inventory, 240. Up nearly 20% if we're rounding up, but it's starting to drop. Kind of the same story as these other markets, right? Pending sales. Look at pending. You're up 13 or 14%. You added 20 homes, taking away 21 homes. That's not going to leave you with more inventory growth. Now let's do median sale price. Median sale price, 338 grand. Man, it's expensive there too. That's up 4% year over year. Now, you peaked way earlier in the year in March, 346, which you were up 17% then. But it hasn't crashed, obviously. It just continues to go. I mean, this is again, it'll be interesting to see how these interest rates affect all this. Will we see a lot more buyers or more sellers? I don't know. They definitely need. I mean, if they're building that big facility, that drone defense facility there in Pickaway, they're going to need more inventory than that to cause prices to come down. And there's probably a lot of new home inventory that's not in this data, obviously, right? Like, there's no law, by the way, that a new home builder has to list their inventory on the MLS. They're a private company; they can do anything they want. Even if they're a public company, they can do anything they want usually. So they don't have to list the inventory on the market. So this probably doesn't include that new home inventory or a good portion of it. I mean, on the MLS, it'll say something like, build, ready to build. And then there's like 5 sites or 5 lots ready to build. And they only list it one time on the MLS. So there could be a lot of new home construction in these numbers that's not, or there could be a lot of new home construction not reflected in these numbers, rather, if that makes sense. Okay, so those are the median sale price in Pickaway. We did that. Now we're going to do I've got Delaware County. Somebody wanted. Delaware County. What's going on in Delaware County? 81 new listings hitting the market, up 9%, almost 10%. So definitely more homes than last year. That's good. How about pending sales? Pending sales only up 1.7%, but that's 78 homes. They added a few more homes, but not many. I mean, it's stagnant, right? You're not going up anymore in active inventory. That's what this is. 20% more in active homes for sale. Median days on market. Sometimes I look at that. Sometimes I don't. But 43 median days on market in Delaware County. That's up 3 days. That's it. Just 3 days. So that tells me homes aren't, there's like, a lot of this info tells me, folks, that there aren't a ton of distressed sellers in Ohio, in these counties. There's just not a lot of sellers that are pulling the fire alarm, or owners that are saying, I got to sell, or investors that are like the narrative about Airbnb and, I don't know, boomers and everybody else flooding the market with inventory this year. Nationally, I'm not seeing it, in the broad data, and I'm not seeing it in this data either. There's just not a lot of distress. There's not a lot of sellers that need to sell. They may want to sell, but they don't need to sell. It's yeah, if you're looking for an opportunity, it can be challenging, especially mentally, right? Because you're like, man, when's this going to change? It may not. It may get worse. Just being real. Just being real. $528,000 is the median sale price in Delaware County. Could be the most expensive county in Ohio. I wonder if it is. 528. That's basically flat, hasn't crashed. Started in Delaware County at 495. Goodness gracious. Like, I think about an area like Delaware or Warren County. We just saw the prices there, even Pickaway County. Probably all these counties actually, but particularly like Delaware. You're gonna get there are people out there with cash. Obviously, they have money. I mean, the median sale price is $528,000. If interest rates continue to come down, could see some good inventory hit. I think we'll see a lot more buyers come in. I mean, 80% of sellers are buyers, right? They got to live somewhere. But you can tell the growth has slowed. The price growth has slowed in Delaware County, but it's still elevated, right? $528,000 hasn't crashed. Let me look at the number of average to sale price, list price ratio. What kind of discount are buyers getting? 99.7. So they're getting like a 0.3% discount on average. Look back in 2022, 105%. 105% back in 2022. Buyers in Delaware County were like, what's the price? I'll give you more. Even if you're not asking for more, I'm going to give you more for your house. Man, that's just nuts back then. And that just wrecked the market. I mean, the difference there is huge, right? Now you're all the way down here. Now it's like normal, like 99%, 99.7%. Maybe a little high, but on average, buyers are basically paying what sellers are asking in Delaware County. Okay, that's Delaware. Did that one. Let me check the chat real quick. Sorry, I just have to keep going here. People are probably like, man. I did Montgomery County. No, I didn't. I will get to Montgomery County. I saw that one. If you've never vacationed in Ottawa County, you should. Island and lake life at the best. Okay. All right. Thank you for the tip, Katie. Yeah. Maybe we'll have to go up there and check out the housing market. Make it a tax write-off, right? Price is going crazy, huh? Yeah, I can understand that. You know where else they're going crazy on the lake is Buckeye Lake. It's startling to go out to Buckeye Lake now and drive around. Like, there's an area at Buckeye Lake, Snug Harbor. And the houses there are like $1.5 million, $2 million for houses. And they're selling. People are building brand new homes. And they're massive and they're nice. So it's yeah, the lake life and vacation towns in Ohio. People have money to burn there, no doubt. Advanced Aircraft, cool name. Our house, only $350,000 in Columbus, has been on the market for 10 days. No showings. Oh no, sorry to hear that, man. I'm not your realtor, so I don't want to give you advice. But I wish you the best of luck. I really do. Yeah, hopefully you're engaged with your realtor on that. Two no shows. Oh, on showings. Yeah, that's really frustrating, and that stinks. Somebody needs to, I'm not perfect, but I always try to, alert the listing agent and tell them, hey, I can't make it. I'm gonna be late. My client's running late. Whatever. But just to not show up, that's crazy. It'll be interesting to see if that changes Advanced Aircraft as interest rates change, right? Maybe that'll free up the market a little bit. But yeah, I wish you the best of luck, man. I really do. Katie, what's up? It makes sense to be going down now because it's the end of the season. Thanks so much. Oh, you're welcome. End of the year. I see. Yeah. End of the vacation year. People are button up the hatches for the cold winter. Crack down on Airbnb makes sense. It could be. Is that what you're saying? And the market is changing? There's got to be a lot of Airbnbs up there, though, right? Now is the worst time to buy a house. Move back in with parents. Wait at least a year until the silent quitting is in full effect. Ah, okay. David's saying it's the worst time to buy a house. Now is the worst time to buy a house. But isn't the saying like the best time to buy real estate's 5 years ago? Right? Certainly would be in Ohio. And don't buy new build. They won't last 20 years and are terrible construction. Well, there are some new construction that's nice, right? Some that's not. I think it's like anything else. Um, I mean, I've tore apart a lot of old houses where you got to scratch your head and go, what were they thinking when they built this? But for the most part, old houses are built well. Earth Angel, what up? I heard that building supplies are still up 40% from pre-pandemic cost. So even if you can't get a great deal, even if you can get a great deal at an auction, is it really a great deal? Well, I mean, prices usually don't go down, right? On like commodities or like things you're buying at the store. I mean, I don't, it seems like they're always going to go up. So it depends on what your goals are. If you're like, hey, I want a home, I don't want to pay for a move-in ready property, you're going to have to find a deal. You could find one at an auction, or you could find one that just needs cosmetically updated and then do the work yourself, right? It just really depends on your situation and what your goals are. It could be still a deal. I mean, if 40% increase in cost on raw materials is baked into the cost of new housing, the cost of the houses that have been renovated out there, well, then, yeah, if you can buy it at a discount, even if you have to pay 40% more in supplies, we can't go back in time. So you're going to have to pay 40% more for that drywall. I will say lumber hasn't really moved in pricing. It's not like low compared to historic lows, but it hasn't really been elevated from the tariffs at all. That's a whole other topic. David, what up? What they do is don't install something like a doorknob and say the building isn't complete, so it doesn't have to be listed. Oh, but there's no rule about being listed. You don't have to list a home on the market. Nobody does. Like there's no rules that says you have to put it on the MLS. I think that's a misconception people have, but maybe you know that. What up, BS? What effect do military bases have on cities that surround them, i.e., Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and Fairborn? I don't know. I mean, it's steady. I know several investors across the nation that buy rentals specifically in military towns because they know there's steady employment there. So maybe that's part of it. I would imagine rentals do well there. That's just a guess, though. But that's a niche that I'm not 100% familiar with. Oh, you've been in real estate for 2 decades, you know. Oh, wait. You're the agent. Okay. I'm sorry, going back to this when people are like, what are you talking about? The advanced aircraft was saying he's having a problem selling a house. Is it your house? It sounds like, or is it a client's house? You've been in real estate for 2 decades. Well, what do you think the problem is then? You tell me. Why is it not moving? There were 3 houses in my community that were listed at the same time, almost same house. One sold that was slightly newer. I mean, why do you think it's not? Okay, so why do you think it's not selling? I'm an agent. I haven't listed my primary home before, but I've listed like a property that I flipped. The danger I have is it's easy to overprice it. Did you overprice it? I don't know. You have to let me know. Or just tell me, well, like, why do you think? What's your gut tell you why you're not getting any showings? You probably know. Okay, let's go back to the data. But thanks for the conversation. You guys are fantastic with that. I always learn something. Let's do Montgomery County. Somebody already asked me about that again. Montgomery County, Ohio. New listings in Montgomery County up 8%. 8%. So you've got almost 200 new listings. That's good. That is good. Good. Got to see that. Look at pending sales. Goodness gracious. Wow. Down 40%, but look, that's 184 pending sales. New listings were 188. You probably, I mean, you're not adding anything. That's the problem, right? I mean, now the other thing is to remember some of these pending sales here will not close. Pending doesn't mean closed. Let me look at homes sold. They told me they fixed this metric. Let's see if they did. All right, homes sold are 0.4%. I don't think they fixed it yet. So we have to use pending sales. Down 40%, but again, you just haven't, you're not adding a ton of inventory. So let's go back to active inventory. Look at active inventory in Montgomery County, 1,600 units. And it's just gone straight up, right? Last year, 1,300. She got like 300 more. Not quite 300. No, not 300. 250. 250 more homes on the market than last year. Median sale price. What's up there? Median sale price, $228,000 in Montgomery County. That's up 8%. I mean, it's been up for years. Like it was up all last year. You can see here, this orange line is 2024. It did not come down versus, I mean, it's been up every year. So a market like this, it, you know, the data, what I look at, and you can see it, different than a lot of areas across the U.S. where homes in this market in Montgomery County are more expensive every year than they, and basically every month, year over year, that growth continues to march on. I mean, maybe people just think homes are still cheap there, but you're near an all-time high in home prices. Wow. 228. I wonder what the sold list ratio is. Yeah, 98. 98.4. I mean, back in 2022, you were at 101. People were paying well over asking. Now, slightly under asking on average. Well, no, 1.6%. That's the kind of discount they're getting, 1.6%. But it's a 4-year low for this time of year right now. Not historical low, but for the last 4 years, that's all we're looking at right now. Okay, that's Montgomery County. No crash there, though you do have more homes for sale. I would say, let me go back and look at the active inventory again. I'm just curious. Let me look at the age of, not age of inventory. I don't look at that. Let me look at median days on market. Median days on market, how long are homes sitting? They're up 2 days, 33 days. So if I'm in Montgomery County or whatever county I'm in, I look at the median days on market. You can come here too and look at this. This is Redfin data. It's free to look at. You don't need a special password or anything. And look at the median days on market, or have a realtor pull it for you in the specific area you want to buy in. And if it's 33 days, like it's showing here in Montgomery County, set that as your like litmus test. You're like mark. And you're like, all right, now after 33 days, then I'll get interested in the house. Before then, I won't even pay attention to it. And if you're patient, you can wait some time, right? Then once the house hits 40 days, now it's like, all right, well, that's normally more than what homes are sitting on the market for. So could be a deal there. I can go in maybe a little lower and snag an opportunity. And by the way, the other thing I was going to ask this guy here, I was going to ask Advanced Aerospace, Advanced Aircraft, who's trying to sell his home. I was going to ask you, what are you doing next with your house? Like, where are you going and why did you decide to sell now? Just curious. And I don't know if it's your primary or not, but you don't have to tell us. I just kind of interested. Like, are you just going to drop the price? Is that what you're going to do? I mean, I don't know what other lever to pull, right? At this point, typically, right? I mean, It's out on the market. So if you're not getting any showings at all, maybe lower rates will help. Or if there are other houses for sale around you, maybe people, more competition. So, but it has only been 10 days too, right? Anyway, sorry to derail the conversation there with this on the analysis, but I thought I was just thinking about that guy. Yeah, so Montgomery County, we wrapped that one up. Sorry, I'm going through all these. There's a lot to work through. All right, let's do somebody asked for Richland County. Richland County, Ohio. New listings in Richland County. Down 0.5%. That's it. 36, basically flat in Richland County with homes hitting the market. Let's do pending sales in Richland County. What do we have? Pending sales down 1.4. Basically, as many as you added, you took away approximately. It's the same story everywhere, it looks like. 16%, 17% increase in active inventory. So 283 homes on the market. Last year, you had 242 homes, about 40 more homes. Yeah, it's crazy how homes are still moving in a lot of these markets. 24 days on market on the median days on market. So, but that's up 14 days. So homes are definitely sitting longer in Richland County. Definitely sitting longer. Look at that. I mean, last year they were at 9 days, 10 days. Now 23 days, 24 days. Let's do median sale price, which always shocks me about Richland County. But look at this, $205,000. That's up 2.5%. But started the year at 184 grand. So now 205. Wow. Yeah, same thing, right? Just prices just show no sign of crash. Next time you hear somebody on a national YouTube channel, talk about how every market is hurting and, the Midwest is going to crash next and there's an explosion of inventory everywhere. I don't know. Maybe you make a comment and say, hey, I just looked at it. I just watched an analysis on the Ohio housing market, and I'm not seeing where the prices are crashing. I'm not seeing where inventory has exploded, where it's like 5x what we usually have, right? And new listings aren't flooding the market. I think a lot of people want that to happen, but that's not the same thing as it actually happening. I would love if prices came down somewhat. It'd be nice. They moderated. Okay, that was Richland County. We got Fairfield County. Fairfield County, Ohio. New listings in Fairfield County. 60 new listings. Now that is up 13%. If I round up 14%. So you do have more people putting their homes on the market. That's good. Look at pending sales, though, up 11%. So more demand. So that's 61 homes. Yeah, you took away more than you added, approximately, or very close. A few got canceled, maybe mid contract or something. 571 active homes on the market. 18%, 19% more homes year over year. And Fairfield County's big. It's like a very, large geography. Last year you had about 482 homes. Now you got 571. Let's look at median sale price. Median sale price, $355. It's an all-time high in Fairfield County. Record high, right? You hit this was 353 a few weeks ago. Now 355, up 7% year over year. Wow. Wow. Man, a record high. Jeez. Okay. And it's like not even the selling season, right? It's like fall. We should be coming down like the other years. Look at the graph. The other years, for the most part, it was coming down. Not now. I'm really, you can always, even me looking at the data every day, I hope for things to happen. I hope the lower rates don't bring back a ton of buyers into the market that are paying anything for homes, because that just won't help anybody later on. You want demand because you need demand in the market, but you want sensible demand. Like before COVID, it was much more sensible, right? You get a home in contract in 30 days. That was normal. That was like the normal time. Like you put a home in contract in 30 days and then it closes. And rarely, I mean, there were some people, if you priced the home really low, people would pay over asking, but usually they didn't. They needed closing costs, and it was just like a normal movement in the market. It wasn't like a feeding frenzy. I just don't think that's healthy. All right, so that was Fairfield. Did I do I don't think I did. Yeah. Let me do Hamilton County. I haven't done Hamilton yet. That's a big one. New listings in Hamilton County. What do I got? Down 1%. That's definitely not what you want to see. Pending sales up point. Whoops, that's not right. Up. Come on. It's hide behind there. There we go. Up 0.2%. 227 pending sales. New listings 244. So you didn't take away as many as you added, but it's really close. It's really close. Active inventory. What do we got? Up 15%. And it's kind of just sideways, right? It's been hanging out there all year. Not going up, just doing its thing, moving sideways. So you do have more homes on the market, though. Like you're up 14, 15%. Last year you had how many? 117 homes. Now you've got what? Whoops, that's not right. You had 2,354 homes last year. That's more like it. Now you got 2,678 homes. Another 100 homes, is that right? No, 300 homes. It's getting late. My math is off. Yeah, about 300 homes more on the market. Median sale price 290. That's up 4%. Not an all-time high, but dang close to it. I mean, same thing, like every year for the last 4 years, homes have been continually more expensive in Hamilton County, month after month, year after year. Not month after month, because there is a decline, right? I mean, like every year you can see it. In the winter, home prices decline. By the way, if you want to find a great opportunity, one of the best times to do it is between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Pick the coldest day to go looking at a property or make an offer. Pick the coldest week. Buyers usually won't, a lot of buyers stay home, obviously. And if somebody really needs to sell their home or they're willing to deal, make drop the price at all, make an offer on Christmas Day. Make an offer on Christmas Eve. Make an offer on New Year's Eve. Make it that stretch of time is a good time to find a deal. It's my opinion. It is, because prices typically are coming down. You can see it in this chart. Inventory is a lot of times stale, and other buyers are doing other things. So that's when you can, capture the opportunity, as they say. All right. So that was Hamilton County. I don't think. Did I do Franklin County? I don't think I did. Well, I'm going to do it again if I did it. New listings in Franklin County down 2.7%. Yep. Fewer people listing their home for sale. And then how about pending sales? Basically flat. I mean, I don't have to click it. Basically flat for Franklin County and pending sales. Nothing extraordinary. Active inventory is up 23%, 4,222 units. Last year, they had 3,441 units. That's up 20%. That's nearly 1,000 more homes on the market. See, Central Ohio is gaining inventory a lot faster than Cuyahoga or Hamilton. Like the Cincinnati and Cleveland area versus Central Ohio. Central Ohio definitely has more homes for sale versus last year. Let's do median sale price. Median sale price, not a record high, but $332,000. So Franklin County is more expensive than Hamilton or Cuyahoga, but they're also gaining a lot of inventory. But that hasn't caused price decline yet. I mean, year over year decline. It actually dipped below last year a couple times this year. You can just, so again, like look at the difference between 2022 and 2023. And then 2023 to 2024. Look how wide that band is. Look at it going all the way through. There's a gap there. So the growth every single month versus the previous year was higher. It continued to be like that. Then in 2025, look what happened. It's shrinking and actually dipped underneath 2024 once. And now it is elevated compared to last year, but it's not, that gap isn't as wide. Like this last year at this time, you were up around what, 4% year over year. Now you're up 2% year over year. The year before that, you were up 5%, almost 6% year over year. And the year before that, look at this. In Franklin County, they were up 11% from 2021. But now that gap is shrinking, right? So I just like to point that out. That's, the market is changing. The growth isn't like it was, thank goodness. But prices are still going up. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it will. That's Franklin. All right. Somebody asked for Knox County. I'm curious to see what's going on there. Knox County, Ohio. I love Mount Vernon. Great city. Great town. All right. New listings, 10%, up 10%. So they do have more new listings, but not a ton. Pending sales. Look at this. 22 pending sales. They took out all the new listings with that. It's up 42%, but there's just not a lot of transactions. Let's see, active listings. Up 40%, 239 active listings. I mean, back in 2023, only had 145 active listings. So, you know, you got another 100 more. Good. Another 100 homes in the market in Knox County. That's a good, at least there's something to choose from. Probably a lot of older homes, though, like we talked about. Okay, $298,000 in the median sale price, up 8% year over year. Prices there are just unhinged. They are expensive in Knox County. I see it all the time. I'm familiar with that area. I have a couple rental properties up there, and help some people buy and sell houses there. And I can't believe the home prices, like in town or like, you know, near town at all. And if it's a renovated older house, it's easy 250 or more. Easy. Prices started at 250 earlier this year. Now median sale price 298. Man, Knox County is expensive. Goodness. Maybe, you know, because it's closer to Columbus, I guess, or it's kind of close. What's 50 miles or so. And Mount Vernon's a cool little town, so maybe that's why. And Intel, I guess, is near there. So how much of that is the Intel effect? I don't know. Now that the government owns 10% of the company. What's that, right? What is that? Like, I got a big Intel video coming up I'm going to do. I haven't had a chance to finish it. Okay. That is Knox County. What do I got? What else is on the list here? Man, I've done a lot of these. Somebody wanted Coshocton County. Let me do that one real quick. Coshocton County, Ohio. New listings. They said there's some kind of AEP development there in Coshocton County. I don't know. That's what the commenter said. They left a comment on a video previously. Wanted to know about the area and see what's happening. Well, not a lot of new listings, that's for sure. Only 8.5 new listings. My guess is there's stuff that's being left off of that. It has to be. Doesn't make any sense. Pending sales. I mean, that is just a week of data, though. I mean, as far as that's what they're saying, it's just a week. 8.5 homes hit the market, so maybe that is right. 7.5 homes went into contract. So you really didn't add anything. You're noticing a theme, not adding any more inventory, really. 88 homes. That's 8.5% more than last year. Median sale price. What's up with that? 174,000, 172,000. Basically flat, but started the year this year at 146. Let's do new listing median price. 189,000. I don't know if we're going to be able to get any data from this or not. Let's see. Average sale to list price ratio. What in the world? Over 100%. Goodness gracious. It's a 4-year. It's like a high. I mean, look at that. In Coshocton County. Man, people are paying there. Again, it could be the fact that there's not a lot of homes that are move-in ready. And I think there's not a lot of people willing to do work on homes for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're scared. They don't have the money, the cash. They don't want to. They don't have the time. They don't think they have the time. But maybe there are just these move-in ready homes out there that once they do hit the market, people are snagging them and willing to pay more than asking. But we haven't seen that yet today, where the average sale to list price ratio is high. Usually it's down underneath 100. This one's over 100. And I don't know what's going on out there as far as the development goes. Somebody asked about AEP. I'm not familiar with it. There's a weird market there. Let me look back through something. Median sale price. 172. I mean, it's definitely not going down, but it's not skyrocketing. Let's look at, I don't do this often, but let me look at weeks of supply. So weeks of supply is something that kind of measures demand, supply and demand together. It's how many homes, how many weeks would it take to burn through the inventory that you currently have if you didn't add anything else. And right now it's 15 in Coshocton County, for instance. So if we didn't add any homes in Coshocton County, and the homes that are on the market now would last about 15 weeks. The problem is they're probably old homes, right? And so they're not for every buyer. They're not for every buyer. Coming up on a live, what I'll do is actually dive into Zillow or Redfin and actually go hunting for a house. We'll kind of see what the inventory is like in some of these markets, because all houses aren't created equal. That's for sure. You guys know that, especially here in Ohio. I think it's bifurcated more than other areas. We just don't have affordable new homes. All the new homes are like 400 grand, 500 grand. Even here in Licking County in the Newark area, they're 400 grand. So it just looks like in Coshocton County, prices haven't crashed. It's probably a lot of old homes out there. Is the moral of the story. Some of these markets are tough to analyze because there's not a whole lot of data. That was Coshocton, though. Let's do Ross. Then I'll look at some comments if you have any. Then I got to wrap it up at some point here. How long have I been on? Almost 2 hours. I'm trying not to go 3 hours. I've done that before, and that's a gruel. a grind. That's grueling. It's a grueling grind. New listings in Ross County, 17 new listings, up 13%. Pending sales in Ross County, what do you got? Pending sales up 7%, 17 days, 18 days. I'm not 18 days, 18 pending sales. Sorry. So you're not adding anything. It's just a wash. Yeah, I mean, this is going up though. 175, up 36%. What did you have last year? 136. Now you have 175. So it must be inventory that you built before the last week or so, or the last week. And now that inventory is sitting there, not selling. I imagine some people will take houses off the market as you get on through the year. Median days on market, what's that? 50, almost 51. That's up a lot, up 7 days in Ross County. So homes are definitely sitting longer, notably longer in Ross County. What about median sale price? Median sale price, $244, up 14%. Goodness. So when people do buy, they're paying, the median price they're paying is $244,000. Let me look at average sale to list price ratio. Yeah, look at this, 98%. So people getting about a 2% discount, near a 2% discount. Excuse me. Back in 2022, it's 102%. People were paying 102% of the final list price. Wow. So at least it's not there. Like in Coshocton County, it's over 100%. So at least you're not there. At least you're underneath 100%, where it should be, right? Typically. What do we got? All right, let's go. Who day? Right. Who day? And they beat the Browns today. Soon the Browns will have the new dome, right? How cheesy is that? Like, if you're a Browns fan, I don't know if there are any Browns fans on right now. I'm not a Browns fan, but like, how cheesy is it? Well, the first part is just having a dome to play football in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, it's just like against every fiber of the universe. Another part is everybody in Ohio is paying for it with property tax or some tax. Yep, just did Franklin County. Monique, I did Fairfield County. I did Portage County. I'll have all these timestamped, by the way. Oh, here's an opinion about it. What's up, James? I think it will be a slow change. Buyers are still being cautious to a point. At 5.99 interest rate, won't get sellers off the fence. Do you think it'll get buyers off the fence at 5.99? I'm 10 days again. I don't know what that means. Relocating, but only if we can sell for a reasonable amount. I put forest land on the market last July. I looked on Ramsey's site to find a trusted agent. Not one person looked or offered for 2 months. I dumped him with a new law about allowing to cancel. I don't know. Isn't that a law you can always cancel, can't you? With an agent? I mean, you should be able to. If the agent's not doing a great job, that's what I tell clients. I'm like, hey, if we don't work together well, if you don't like what I'm doing, you can terminate me. I mean, I guess you could write a listing contract that was draconian and you could hold them to it. But like, I wouldn't want to waste my time with a client who didn't want to work with me. So I would rather them just fire me. But, so did you sell it? That's the question. Did you sell the land? It's forest land, huh? Oh, hey. 8:38. You guys got a lot to say tonight. We're not in dire need. Want to sell, but don't have to type of thing. Aha. Good. Hey, super chat. Thanks, man. Justin, how are you doing? Who day, we day. I appreciate the channel. I wish you covered Northern Kentucky as well, but that's okay. Dude, you know what, Justin, just let me write that down, and then I don't want to detract from the Ohio folks. All right, I wrote that down. So, Justin, what I'll do, and I really appreciate the super chat, man. That was very nice of you. I have a national channel. You may know that, you may not, called just Housing Nerd. This is the Ohio Housing Nerd. So the Housing Nerd channel, I do the same type of review, but I do it nationally. Tell me where in Northern Kentucky, what county, what city, put that in the comments, and I will cover it on my next Redfin data update nationally on the Housing Nerd. So check out that channel, and then you'll get that info. And it may be live, it may not be, but regardless, I'll make sure to cover Northern Kentucky. Just tell me where, and I can dive into the data. We're going to take it week by week. The house looks amazing. We listed it on the week of the OSU game, Labor Day weekend. Other houses listed, and we wanted to act though. Yeah. I mean, it's only 10 days, right? In a normal market, that's not bad. I mean, it's not, that's nothing to be alarmed about. Like I said, you were an agent for 2 decades. You know what it's like before COVID. At least the market, the people the houses I was selling, buying, involved in before COVID, it was like 30 days to get an offer that made sense, even on flips that were nice. Made an offer without survey. Counter if I provide survey, and he agreed. I called county to go through back records to find survey. Made an offer without survey. Counter if I provide the survey. Okay. So it sounds like you got in contract. Good. People selling wouldn't like it to, but us that want to buy would. Prices going down, you mean? Yeah. I mean, but a lot of sellers wouldn't mind prices to be moderated because they got to buy the next house, right? And they know, I think most sellers know that inflated prices or prices going to the moon isn't healthy for the market long term. Neither is the money printing, obviously, or the lower interest rates, right? None of that's healthy. It's just going to make things worse, in my opinion. But I don't control anything. You just got to kind of play the hand you're dealt. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Sin X Ghost. Am I saying that right? But thanks. And hit the like button if you are joining us. Found it, and the guy dropped off his offer. Oh, found it, and the guy dropped his offer another 10K. I don't know what that means. I guess he just dropped it. Far less showings though across our market. At least what I'm seeing in Franklin County at our price point, which admittedly is near the top. So smaller number of potential buying parties. Yeah. Top of the market right now can be really tough. Really tough. Where I live, there are a couple of homes like flip type. No, they're not. Yeah, I guess a couple of them are flips, but they're near 7-figure flips. And they rot. I mean, there's a couple that have been on the market for 300 days because they're at the top of the market. And it's tough being at the top of the market sometimes. And you're right, the buyer pool is a lot smaller. A lot smaller. Hey, yeah. Poo day, we day. Yep. But I appreciate the super chat, Justin. That was very, very nice of you. From a Bengals fan, no less. I like that. Robert and Esters are buying them up. Robert? Oh, investors are buying them up, flipping them in groups to larger investors. They've been doing that since the Intel deal. To larger investors. Yeah, maybe they are. I mean, prices in Johnstown have gone crazy. Crazy. And they've gone crazy everywhere around Intel. They just have. I probably made one of the worst. Well, I wasn't not psychic, so I had no idea this would happen. But I had a rental property in New Albany. It was for the first house we ever bought, and we were renting it to somebody. Had a renter in there. It was great. Well, we were losing money, so this is before the Intel announcement. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to sell it and deploy the money into other properties. And I did. We sold it. And then like 3 months later, they announced Intel. And I was like, dang it. That was a bad, bad decision. But I couldn't know Intel was coming. Maybe I could have if I would have dug some, but it is what it is. I may pull mine off the market in October. There you go. Yep. A lot of sellers are. Seeing more, what's up, Energy Fitness? Seeing more homes for sale in Portage, but they aren't moving like 2 years ago. Ah, yeah, a lot of homes are sitting. That's why that active inventory number is misleading because it looks like there's a lot of inventory, but sometimes it's overpriced, right? So it's like, or maybe it's old and beat up. Like I want to say I looked in Ohio and it was like, it was a good percentage of the active inventory in Ohio was built before like 1939. So, if you look at just what's available but it wasn't long ago, it's just a few years ago. Advanced Aircraft knows this. Just a few years ago, you could find a home in Ohio, no problem, for under 100 grand. Like in Newark, you could find a house under 100 grand, right at 100 grand. Maybe a little over if it was fixed up at all. Not anymore. Now, if it's under 100 grand, you're like, what's wrong with that thing? Like it must be really messed up, right? I remember the first like duplex I ever looked at in Newark. This was in 2000 and like late 2016, early 2017 when I first got into investing. I remember I looked at it and we had it in contract at like $30,000. I was buying houses in Columbus for 30 grand, 50. I bought one for 12 grand in Columbus. That's not happening anymore. Very difficult to find. Oh, you're telling us what kind of house you got? 4,200 square feet. That's a big house. 4, 3.5 back, 1 bath, 1.25 acres on the Scioto River. Wow. Bet that's a nice house. But if you're pulling your listing, you must not need to sell. And I think that's a lot of the market. Wow. Yeah. That's, I mean, if you're in Franklin County on the Scioto River and you've got that size of a house, I bet that's a nice crib. Why are you selling, Robert? I'm curious. Oh, you already told me. Looking for large, small, square foot, and large land, about 15 to 20 minutes with ability to buy more. Ah. Looking to downsize. Okay, there you go. I have 6 acres I can build on, all wooded. Cool. I like you guys talking back and forth. Sorry to interrupt. Ohio basements are the very first thing I look at. Word up. No doubt. I always go to the basement. I mean, the basement's where all the magic happens, right? Yep. You can tell a lot from a house with the basement. That's why I like basements. I think they're cool to have. They're very versatile. I like being able to get underneath the house and look, see what's going on. So I agree. Basements are where it's happening. It's where the rubber meets the road. And basements can be fixed. Like a lot of people are hesitant about, walls caving in or something like that, or water in the basement. A lot of times it's gutters. You can easily handle it. You can't easily. It's simple usually to fix a basement. It costs money, but it's simple. It's not complicated normally. Yeah. Leroy, how you doing, man? I've also seen much older couples home shopping than couples in my age. Yeah. They got cash probably from a sale of a house, right? Yep. I mean, the average age of a home buyer now, first time home buyer is like, it's historically high. I want to say it's in the 50s or something, isn't it? Not the average age of a first time home buyer. The average age of the home buyer out there right now is like in the 50s, I think. It's not 20. It's not 25. There were fewer first time home buyers, I think, last year than I think it was a historical low for first time buyers. Even as like a percentage of total sales, because sales have been in the toilet, right? We'll do like 4 million transactions this year nationally, but the percentage of those that are first time buyers continues to drop. Are construction materials still high to justify high price in new homes? So the data I've read, Dana, by the way, thanks for joining us. The data I've read suggested the materials aren't that aren't elevated for home builders as much. Like lumber's not. Lumber prices are low comparatively to where people thought they would be with tariffs, according to the uneducated economist. And if you guys haven't checked out his channel, you should. His name's Simon, uneducated economist. The guy lives in Astoria, Oregon, and he's in the lumber business, and he has his finger on the pulse of builders and lumber supply. And he's like, no, prices haven't moved. They haven't, because there were already tariffs in place way before any of the Trump tariffs with Canadian lumber. He explains it on his channel. I suggest you check it out. But and ask him about all the other supplies, but I don't think they're elevated. At least not the data I've read. I think the United States supplies most of the lumber. A lot of the lumber in the U.S. is domestic, and maybe that's one of the reasons. And I would think the fixtures, like the light fixtures and stuff, those have probably increased in price. Made in China. I'll write this question down. Yeah, I'll do some research on that at some point. The way things are shaping, it's really killing off hope that me and my wife will become homeowners. I'm really sorry to hear that, man. That's not cool. Like, I'm not saying you have to want to buy a home, but I don't like it seeing that you don't have hope. I'm entry-level IT and she's a nurse. Wow. We don't make bad, I wouldn't think you make bad money together. Things are just too expensive. Yeah, I get it. I understand the frustration. I really do. Yeah. I mean, it just depends on how you want to buy. Like, if you want to buy a house that's just move-in ready and it's kind of that burning bush type thing, right? Or that unicorn, it's going to be difficult. Probably will spend more than you want to. But if you look and do things others are unwilling to do, then you may find an opportunity. So like this, you guys may not like this. You guys may. This is a letter that I send people. You can't probably see it. It's a fake number anyway I have on there for my demonstration, but basically I send letters to people. I'm one of those annoying folks. But as a homeowner, Ghost, you can, or a prospective homeowner, you could do the same thing. And most people would be far more willing to sell you a house versus an investor. So what I do is I just get my car and I drive the neighborhoods where I think I would want to buy a house or a property. And I write down the addresses of anything that looks like, maybe a little neglected, maybe vacant, weeds in the yard. If you're in Ohio, you know what I'm talking about, where there's multiple cars, busted out cars in the driveway, right? Like cars on blocks. Christmas lights up in July. You go drive through during the winter months and you don't see any tracks in the snow. That's an indication there may be some like desire to sell. And a lot of people, believe it or not, do not want to list their house on the market because sometimes they're embarrassed. Sometimes they don't want the neighbors to know what they're doing. Sometimes they just don't want to deal with a realtor. So that's why a lot of investors will buy directly from sellers, because a lot of sellers don't want to deal. They just don't want to list their home. They'd rather sell it just off market. But as a home buyer that you're going to live in the house, you have an advantage over anybody like me, over any investor, certainly big investors. If you're willing to do some work, find a house that needs some love, and contact owners directly. So I find the house, I look up the owner's information, and then I mail them those letters. And it works. I mean, it's not like foolproof and it takes a lot of letters, but you can probably land something that you would never be able to find before by doing that. And then you can even use a realtor. Like, you can say, hey, I found this house. This seller wants to sell. He already told me he wants 300 grand for his house. I kind of like the idea. I need help putting a contract together. You can find a realtor who will help you, or use a lawyer, or you can always do it yourself too. But anyway, that's a way that I would suggest to look. But you gotta have hope. You gotta remain hopeful. Have a plan, and then just work towards a plan, and don't let people deter you from it. and be patient. Probably all things you don't want to hear. The other thing is you could house hack, right? You could buy a duplex, live in one side, rent out the other. Like if I was a young person today buying a house, that's exactly how I would present it to my wife. I would say, hey, we're going to find a duplex. We're going to buy it. It's going to be a POS, but the location is going to be great. We're going to fix up one side enough to live in, bare bones live in one side, then work on the other side, get it ready to rent, put a renter in there, then either stay in that other side of the duplex or put a renter there and then go to the next one, or buy a triplex or a quad. If you can find a triplex, there's a guy on my channel, just a viewer, who called me from Michigan, who's looking at a triplex to do that exact thing. He's a truck driver, and he's like, I'm not in town very. I'm in town for like 3 nights a week, 2 nights a week, sometimes none. I don't want to pay rent. I don't want to buy a house and have it empty. So I'm going to buy a triplex. I'm going to find one where I can create a small third unit or renovate something into a small unit that I'll live in, like a studio or efficiency. Then the other 2 units, I'll rent those out, and that'll pay my mortgage. I don't, he just called for some, advice, I guess. And I don't know if he was successful or not, but that may be the other opportunity, is just house hack on a small multifamily. If you do it on a 2, 3, or 4 unit property, Ghost, you have opportunity to take advantage of FHA financing because you're an owner occupant, and you have tax treatment is different. Your property taxes, because you're an owner occupant, even on a 2, 3, or 4 unit. If you go past 4 units, you can't do it. It's commercial, but you can still do it. But you can house hack, but there's not a huge advantage to it. But if you do it on a 2, 3, or 4 unit, that's a whole other ball game. So that's something to try. That driving for dollars, you're driving around looking at the houses that need help, mailing those folks letters, people even knock on doors. Just knock on the door. Hey, are you interested in selling your house? Depends on what neighborhood you're in. You have to be careful. I'm not sure I would do that in today's day and age, but mailing them a letter certainly works. I don't call people. You could call them on the phone, but remember, think about this. You're buying the house to live in, not invest. And if you're specific about that, you can even put that on your letter. I'm not an investor. I want to live in your house. Probably much more apt to get a call than me. Anyway, that's my lesson on maybe finding an off-market deal. What's up, Space Ranger? How you doing? Are prices dropping? Not really. No. I mean, month over month, they're falling in some areas, but year over year, they're still up. That's what we figured out today, I think, from our time together. Love and 2 limes. How are you? Nice to see you. You're always supporting the channel, and I sincerely appreciate it. If Fed cuts, house prices stay elevated. Well, last year when they cut, mortgage rates went up a lot. They went up like 50 basis points, like immediately. I don't know. I think if the Fed cuts, it'd be interesting to see if they cut. They could cut 50 basis points. They could. But I think a lot of the Fed cut has already been baked into the 10-year in mortgage rates. So my hope is that they won't go up, but my fear is that they will. They will go up. Sin Ghost thinks they'll go up. They may. Interest rates dropping usually means higher prices. It usually does. Space Rangers Recording Studio. Billions in lottery money is supposed to fund the school system. Trillions in gas tax is supposed to fund this roads and law enforcement and EMS. Where's that money? Yeah, you should look that up. It's not as cut and dry as you think. It goes to some of the lottery money goes to the education fund for the state of Ohio, but it's not like distributed out for the schools. It's like an education fund that they use for, I'm not sure what, Then some of the lottery money obviously goes to pay the winners, and it's not all going to education, but a good portion of it does. But it's not like split out between the schools to fund them. So I would look it up. Like the simple thing to do would be to get on Chat GPT or AI and just look it up, and then ask it for links to go on the websites and actually verify it. And it's pretty interesting. Oh, you're welcome. I wish you luck on your house, man. I hope you do well on it. Unemployment will rise, as well as companies no longer commit to unemployment levels as profit margins shrink. Was 20% margins and recently a 14% in several sectors. That could drive prices down. It could. Unemployment definitely could drive prices down, right? I mean, unemployment numbers have not been good. All the revisions to the revisions to the revisions. Nothing within 30 minutes drive of Columbus is reasonable. It's starting to feel that way. It definitely feels that way, and I understand why you're saying that. New Gahanna School's 250 for a nice house. Where's that? No, is that New Gahanna? Is that a different area? Or a new house in Gahanna, 250? Where's that? Me? Yeah, I do. If you're talking about me, I'm trying. I'm selling 100 tiny houses for $10,000 a piece. Sounds like a good deal. Ah, yeah. Uneducated economist is the GOAT. You got to respect that dude's hustle. Just like a normal guy in a truck. Like he doesn't have a fancy setup like I do. You know, he just kind of like just sits in his truck and talks about the economy. Very good listen. Thank you, Love and Two Limes. You're always sharing my stuff. Do you have clients all over Central Ohio? I do. I do all over Central Ohio. Like as an agent, I mean, there's really no limit in Ohio. I can go anywhere in Ohio. I've gone far when buyers want like a house in. I had somebody buy a house like way down south. Um, I helped them sell a house in Newark, which is close to where I lived. Then I had to drive all the way down to like Hamden, which I had never heard of, but it's way out there. Um, but yeah, basically Central Ohio. So like, you know, Franklin County or Columbus and the surrounding counties to it is kind of my main jam. But I'll go out to Coshocton County. It depends. You know, I won't go probably to Cleveland or Cincinnati, but anywhere within an hour and a half drive of Columbus, I cover pretty much. Hey, I'm a 36. What's up, Zero Toxic? I'm a 36-year-old property manager of 11 units in 6 locations, all single or double within Columbus. I live in one of the twins. What would be the way you would have the ideal ownership structure? Shoot, man, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Talking about like how to structure the business, I can't give you advice on that. I get in trouble. I get to talk to an attorney on that one. Or talk to some experienced investors in Columbus, like get on the cream on Facebook and ping some folks on there. There's a guy, Dave runs the group on cream. He's RJ is in there too. Terry Summers is in there. You may want to ask them. They would probably be able to help you. They're experienced folks, but I'm not probably somebody that can help you with understanding how to set up a business like that. If that's what you mean. Between PC and Dublin, would like to talk to you when your house updating is complete and when our house and put it on the market. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I remember your story. I'd love to have a conversation. So just, yeah, my email is in the description. And or you can even Google me and you'll see my name on Google. And yeah, just call me, Love and Two Limes. I'm happy to talk to you and come out and take a look at it and see how I can help. I'm happy to help any way I can, even if it's just provide information. Oh, you need a realtor? Yeah, that's me. Good. Excellent. when buying a house, you need to erase the property tax from the contract. You need to erase the property tax from the contract. I don't understand what you mean by that. Like, I mean, it's in the contract, right? It says, like, it basically has a clause in there that tells you, hey, whatever property tax is owed up through the day of sale, the current owner, has to pay it basically at closing. That's how it works, generally speaking. It can always be negotiated, but that's usually how it works. Okay. Wow. It's 3 hours, or no, 2 hours and 26 minutes. You guys have been fantastic. I hope I hit everybody. I think I did. All the locations. I did a lot of them. I'll do some timestamps. Probably won't be till tomorrow morning when the video's processed. I'll do some timestamps for the counties that I reviewed. I'm just looking through to see if I missed anything. I don't think so. Well, I learned a lot tonight. So thank you. I hope you learned something too. Stay positive in the housing market. Stay positive. If you're selling or you're buying, I mean, you can't control what the government does. You can't control what institutional investors do. You can't control what Airbnb owners do. All you can do is control your side of the fence. So stay hopeful, stay positive, and we will see you on the next video. You guys are fantastic. I really appreciate the support. I can't say it enough, how much I appreciate the support you guys have given me. I have a national channel, but the Ohio channel is growing faster. So I'm humbled. I'm humbled by the support and the conversation. And it's fun helping people. It's fun learning. I learn a lot from y'all. So have a nice night. Have a great week. And I'm the Ohio Housing Nerd, and I am out. OUT out. Peace.